Miami's canceled. Just for you, bro. My brother laughed from first class. I had paid $3,700 for the Airbnb. Next day, they emptied my card, and Mom left a voicemail. Stop being dramatic. This is urgent. I sent a sarcastic gif. Then I made one call. When they got home, a sold sign waited on the lawn, and my name is Daniel Ortiz. I'm 31. Oldest kid, default problem solver, quiet fixer. I do operations for a logistics startup, which just means I'm the guy who makes sure boxes move and people stop fighting in Slack. I rent a small apartment over a laundromat, drink diner coffee, and keep spreadsheets for everything because numbers don't lie the way people do. I'm the first to graduate college in my family. I'm also the one who bought the house my mother lives in. Don't clap. I didn't do it because I'm noble. I did it because I'm a sucker with a good credit score and a soft spot for a woman who calls me Danito when she needs something and dramatic when I ask for basic respect. My younger brother, Evan, is 27. Charismatic. Loud. He's the kind of guy who says networking like it's a personality. He's always been Mom's favorite. He's a free spirit. She says when he blows rent money on shoes. When I forget to call on a Sunday, she sighs like I kicked a puppy. 3 facts about me. I save receipts in labeled envelopes. I once paid off a $9,800 credit card balance my mother swore was an error. I think people mean it when they say thank you. It was supposed to be a family reset. For nights in Miami. Beach, food, no fights. I booked the Airbnb. I ate the $3,700 like a responsible oldest child because, quote, we'll send our parts after payday. I even built a Google Doc with activities so no one could say I didn't plan for everyone. I imagined us laughing over empanadas like we remembered how to love each other. The morning of the flight, I was at gate D14 with a neck pillow and optimism I should have left at home. My phone buzzed. Evan's name slid across the screen, photo of him doing that stupid 2-finger peace sign. He didn't even say hello. Miami's canceled. Just for you, bro, he laughed. I could hear clinking glasses and overhead chimes. We're bumping you. First class can't fit 3. Mom says you'll understand. Silence on my end. Just the rolling suitcase of the woman next to me and the gate agent saying something about Zone 1. I stood and walked to the big window where planes looked small and reasonable. What did you do, Evan? Relax. They had an offer at the counter. Upgrade for 2. Last minute. We took it. But there's a wait thing. Super boring. Anyway, don't be salty. You can catch a later one. There's a standby list. I paid for the Airbnb. I said, like an idiot who thought facts might matter. He laughed again, lower this time. Yeah, and you booked it under your account, which means you can handle check-in whenever you get there. Win-win. I pictured them, Evan grinning, Mom nodding, both waving me off like a waiter they'd already tipped. My chest felt tight in that old familiar way. Put Mom on. Busy. Pre-boarding selfies, he said. Then his voice turned smug, syrupy. Don't make this a thing, Dan. You're always so intense. Just be flexible for once. A final boarding call swallowed his words. The line hummed. Then my mother's voice cut in, bright and irritated. Daniel, please. Don't be dramatic. We're already on the jet bridge. Did you pack sunscreen? Remember you burn. Her tone said I was 5. Her size said I was a problem. Are you serious right now? Evan offered to pay for a nicer experience. Why should I argue? You know your brother. He gets opportunities. We need to support him. By leaving me? Don't guilt trip your family. She snapped so fast I could see the eye roll. If you missed this one, catch up tomorrow. It's not that deep. A gate agent waved. You could hear it in her voice. Gotta go. Love you. Click. The call died. The window in front of me reflected a version of me I didn't recognize, jaw tight, hands gripping a crumpled boarding pass. I stared at the plane nosing toward the runway and thought, of course they did. I put my phone down. I picked it up. I typed 3 different texts to the family group chat and erased all of them. My hands shook. I swallowed it like I always do. Behind me, a kid asked his dad if Miami has dolphins. The dad answered kindly. The kid smiled like the world is an easy place. My phone buzzed again. Not a call this time, but a ping in the family chat. A photo from Evan. First class champagne. A blurry selfie of him and Mom. His caption, manifesting abundance. Daniel, grab us Cuban coffee tomorrow. I closed my eyes. Something hot crawled up my throat. Every part of me wanted to scream. Instead, I sat down and opened notes. I typed one line. Remember this feeling. I didn't know it yet, but that was the moment the story started to turn. Not when they boarded. Not when they posted. Right there, with my cheap carry-on and a gut full of quiet anger, I picked the thread I was finally going to pull. If you want to understand why this wasn't just about a flight, you have to know the ledger I was already keeping. Growing up, money was a rumor in our house. We always had enough, as long as I worked weekends, and Evan had hobbies Mom could brag about. I bought my own cleats in ninth grade. Evan got a drum kit for creativity. When I asked about fairness, Mom said, "Don't make everything about money." In college, I ate peanut butter at midnight and learned how to stretch rice 6 ways. Evan came down twice a semester to visit and left with my hoodie and my grocery cash. Mom said he's just a kid. He was 20. I was 22. Apparently, adulthood was a sliding scale. After graduation, Dad left. One suitcase. A Facebook update. New chapter. He sent a text. "Take care of your mother." Not a check. Not a plan. A sentence. Bills started arriving in stacks. Late fees bloomed like mold. The house, the small yellow one on Willow with the peeling porch, was in Mom's name, but the mortgage rate was a joke only the bank found funny. She called me crying with the word foreclosure hiccuping out of her. I was 24 with a new job and more hope than sense. I moved back for a year. I made spreadsheets. I called lenders. I learned that pretending to be calm is 60% of adulthood. A broker said we could refinance if someone with better credit co-signed. I did it. I signed and felt the pen bite into my finger. We saved the house. Mom hugged me and said, "You're my rock." It sounded like love. It was a sentence too. A heavy one. After that, I became the emergency contact for everything. Daniel, the fridge died. Daniel, the car needs tires. Daniel, the dentist says crowns. Receipt after receipt after receipt. I wasn't rolling in money. I just organized it. I said yes because I believed in the myth. If I kept the roof over us, eventually we'd all feel safe. If we felt safe, maybe we'd be kind. Evan called me the bank of Big Brother. Laughing, he'd show up in fresh sneakers, slap my shoulder, and say, "You know I'll pay you back when the app blows up." He never built the app. He built excuses. When I tried to draw boundaries, Mom cried. "You can't punish your family for not being as lucky." She meant Evan. He was talented. He was discovering himself. He was also taking my debit card just to grab groceries and returning it with an Uber charge at 2 a.m. There were quiet humiliations. The Christmas where Mom wrapped a sweater from Evan and whispered, "I bought it," but he picked the color. The birthday where Evan toasted me for being responsible to a fault, and everyone laughed like that was charming. I dated Lena for 2 years. She broke up with me on a Tuesday next to a sink full of meal prep containers. "I love you," she said, "but I'm not trying to build a life with a committee." She meant my family. She meant the unspoken rule that if Mom called, we left dinner. If Evan texted, I transferred. I told myself she was overreacting. Then I sat in my car and stared at the steering wheel for an hour because I knew she wasn't. The house got retitled during one of the refis. Long story, short signature. My name ended up first on the deed. "Just for the rate," the broker said. "We'll fix it later," Mom said. We never fixed it. I paid the property taxes because I liked not getting angry letters. I fixed the porch because the wood rot made me nervous. I changed the locks once when Dad tried to move himself back in. Mom yelled at me for 2 weeks. "That's your father." She didn't say, "That's my mortgage." By the time Miami came up, my boundary muscle was dead. Mom wanted a real vacation. Evan wanted content for his feed. I wanted proof we could be normal. "We'll all split it," I said. "Everyone sends their share by the 1st. "Of course," Mom said. "Big bro, I got you," Evan said. On the 1st, my account got $0. On the 2nd, I sent a reminder. Mom replied with a paragraph about payroll glitches. Evan sent a fire emoji. On the 3rd, I paid the full $3,700 because the cancellation fee was 50%. It felt like throwing cash into a wishing well and praying for a family. The week before we left, Evan asked if he could borrow my card to hold a rental car. "They need a real credit line," he said, eyes shiny with innocence. "You know I don't have that kind of limit." "Absolutely not," I said. My voice surprised both of us. He pouted. "You're being weird." I held my ground for once. He sulked for 2 days. Mom texted, "Stop picking on your brother." So, yeah, when they upgraded themselves and demoted me at the gate, it wasn't random. It was the logical end of a long math problem in which I was always the remainder. I sat at D14 for a long time, pretending to read the departures board. People moved. Suitcases sang. I could feel a decision stirring in me like a draft through a closed window. Then a small thing happened that shouldn't matter but did. A little girl tugged her mother's sleeve and said, "Do I have a seat?" And the mom bent down and said, "Of course. You always have a seat." I wanted that sentence more than I wanted Miami. I wanted a life where I wasn't a standby passenger in my own family. I didn't call them again. I went home. I slept badly. I woke up to sunlight and something sharper. Resolve, maybe. I made coffee and opened my banking app to make sure the utilities autopay would clear while I was supposed to be gone. That's when the next hit landed. The numbers didn't look like my numbers. My checking account balance was lower. Way lower. There were pending charges stacked like dominoes. $468.92. Luxury Wheels, LLC. $319.50. Oceanside Cabana Rentals. $222.18. MIA VIP Lounge Day Pass X2. Then a new one blinked in as I watched. $1,080. Skybar Table Minimum. My chest went ice cold. I scrolled. The card used was the backup debit tied to Apple Pay. The one Evan had accidentally added once when he needed to call a Lyft. I thought I removed it. I hadn't. Or he re-added it. Either way, my money was now their weekend. The phone rang. Mom. I didn't answer. It immediately rang again from unknown. Then Evan. Then Mom. The voicemail chime hit. I pressed play and put her on speaker while staring at the numbers blinking away my rent. Daniel, stop being dramatic. This is urgent. Mom's voice snapped, the fake sweetness stripped. The bank flagged your card, and we can't finish paying the deposit for the boat. They said you have to approve it. Call me now. Do not ruin this trip because you're sulking. Another voicemail landed. Evan laughing. Bro, chill. We put you on the reservation because your limit is clean. It's just authorizations. I'll PayPal you later. Don't be a hater. I didn't rage. Something went quiet instead. Like a theater when the lights drop before the real show. I opened our family group chat. Evan had posted a boomerang of champagne bubbles. Mom had typed, blessed. There were hearts from Tia Lily and a sun emoji from someone I barely knew. I replied with a sarcastic gif, a sloth slow clapping. It bought me 10 seconds of petty satisfaction. Then I did what I should have done years ago. I made one call. Not to them. To a realtor. Hi. I'm the owner of a single-family home on Willow Street. I said, the words tasting strange and true. I'm ready to list. Today. There was a pause. Then the warm, efficient voice people use when the commission is real. We can have a photographer by 3 and a sign-up by 5. Are you sure about the price point? I'm sure about selling, I said. Do you have other decision makers? It's just me. The next hours were a blur of signatures and emails. DocuSign pings stacked. The realtor sent comparables. I picked a number that was fair and not generous. I forwarded her the title packet, the tax receipts, the last appraisal. I pulled my own spare keys from the drawer where I kept batteries. I texted our neighbor, Mr. Patel. There will be people at the house today. Please don't be alarmed. He replied with a thumbs up and about time, which I decided to interpret as support. At noon, I called my bank's fraud line. I need to remove a device from my digital wallet and block all authorizations from Miami. The rep said the magic phrase, we've got you. They reversed pending charges and froze the card, then rushed a new one to my apartment. I changed passwords. I switched the utilities to my personal email. I moved the mortgage auto draft to a separate account only I controlled. At 2, the realtor texted a photo of a white post lodged in our brittle grass. The red for sale rider wasn't up yet. The empty sign swung in the breeze like a secret. At 3, 2 men in polos and a woman with a clipboard met me on the porch. The photographer said, can you open blinds? I moved through rooms that smelled like lemon cleaner and old arguments. Mom's knickknacks glittered in the afternoon sun. Evan's shoes, 3 pairs, were kicked under the hall bench like they owned the place. I took a box and started packing what was mine. Not because I was being cruel, because I was done leaving pieces of myself for people to misplace. By 5, the for sale sign faced the street. By 6, the listing was live. There were already 2 showing requests for the next morning. The market was hot. My anger ran hotter. At 7:12 p.m., Mom called again. Voicemail number 3. Daniel, why is the internet asking for a new login? We're trying to stream the sunset. Fix this. You know I don't understand tech. Then, sotto voce. Evan, stop laughing and get me another drink. I stared at my phone until my eyes ached. Then I put it face down and sat in the dark with the AC humming like applause. At 9:03, a text from the realtor. Full price cash offer. 14-day close. Buyer wants quick response. I signed. My fingers shook. My heart did not. It wasn't revenge. Not exactly. It was me stepping out of a trap I built with good intentions and bad boundaries. It felt like standing up in a crowded plane and finally taking a breath. Morning came like nothing had happened, except everything had. I made eggs. I fed the neighbor's cat through the fence because she yowled at 8:15 like always. I checked my email and there it was. Offer accepted. Next steps. The escrow timeline was a neat little ladder I could climb out on. At 10:22 a.m., my phone lit up like a pinball machine. Mom, why is there a sign in front of the house? Evan, a selfie, mouth open, pointing at the lawn. Caption, is this a prank? Then a voice message from Mom. I pressed play and set the phone on the table like I was dissecting something dangerous. Daniel, you better pick up this phone right now. This is insane. People are slowing down in their cars. Our neighbors are looking. Do you have any idea how embarrassing this is? Remove that immediately. Our. There. Mine. I typed. House is under contract. Close in 14 days. Start packing. She called. I answered. What is wrong with you? She screamed before hello. You don't sell a family home without consulting the family. You don't rob a family member without consulting the family, I said, voice flat. You used my card. Again. Don't be dramatic, she snapped. We were going to pay you back. When? Before or after the boat? Before or after the VIP table minimum? Silence. Then the tone switch, that syrupy bridge she uses when shouting doesn't work. Honey, listen. You know I'm not good with systems. Evan offered to handle the upgrades. He said it was just a hold. You overreacted. Evan's voice crashed through the speaker. Bro, come on. You're making us look stupid in front of the neighbors. You did that when you posted the first-class video while the guy who paid for the house sat at the gate, I said. Mom gasped like I'd cursed in church. How dare you throw money in people's faces? You know your brother works hard. At what? I asked. Angles. See? You're cruel, she hissed. You always have been. You pretend you're generous, but you love power. Selling the house. Who does that? Where am I supposed to live? We're going to solve that. Like adults, I said. I've already arranged for a moving company next Friday. Storage unit is booked for 90 days on my dime. After that, you choose. A rental within the budget I'm willing to help with for 6 months, or you and Evan cover your own costs. You think you can put conditions on me? She spit. I am your mother. And I am your son, not your bank. She tried a different front. Do you want your mother on the street? No, I said. The word came out steady. I want my mother to stop using me as a crutch while she hands my brother a megaphone. Evan cut back in louder. You're jealous. That's all this is. You hate that people like me. I laughed then, not because it was funny, but because the alternative was crying. Evan, I don't care who likes you. I care that you treat me like an ATM with a doormat attached. Click. They hung up. Text replaced the call, paragraphs, memes, threats, apologies, more threats. I muted the thread. 2 hours later, the realtor messaged. Open house starts at noon. I decided not to be there. I took a walk. When I came back, there were shoe covers on the porch and a stack of glossy flyers on the console table that read, Charming Willow Street Bungalow. Updated systems, newer roof. Updated systems. That was me. Newer roof. Also me. Charming. If by charming you mean held together by a tired eldest son. Neighbors stopped by with faces set to concern. Mrs. Alvarez peered over the fence. Is your mother okay? She'll land, I said, and then surprised myself by meaning it. Everyone will. By 5 p.m., there were 4 backup offers and a line of cars out front. By 6, Evan posted a story of himself, smirking with the caption, House flippers are parasites. I didn't respond. I forwarded his story to the realtor as proof that showings should be accompanied. Family member may attempt to disrupt. She noted like it was weather. At 7:30, my cousin Diego called. He usually stays out of the family mess because he's allergic to group chats. Dude, he said, your mom is blowing up my phone. You okay? I'm fine, I said. It was true in a way that startled me. Good. Because, respectfully, it's about time. She's been dining out on your kindness for a decade. He paused. Need a couch for anyone? Mine's free. I've got it covered. Sunday morning, I changed the locks. Not because I was afraid. Because boundaries without hardware are just wishes. I left Mom a key in an envelope with a typed note. Return by Friday. Please coordinate with movers. Code to new keypad below. I taped it to the inside of the storm door so she'd see it before her followers did. At noon, my phone buzzed with a new tone, the bank's fraud alert. Someone had tried to re-add my card to a digital wallet on a device named Evan's iPhone. I smiled grim. Nice try. Security locked it down again. At 8 p.m., the phone rang with a number I hadn't seen in years. Dad. Hey, champ, he said, like 2016 was yesterday. Heard about the situation. What situation? I asked. The one where your ex-wife tried to spend my rent at a Sky Bar, or the one where I remembered the house is in my name? He cleared his throat. Your mother can be spirited, but selling the house is extreme. Abandoning your family was extreme, I said. This is math. He fell silent. Then, almost gently, proud of you in a weird way. Should have done it sooner. I know. He exhaled. If she calls me, I'm going to say to listen to you. She won't, I said, but I appreciated the gesture. A breadcrumb from a man who'd left the bakery. Monday was paperwork. Tuesday was movers inventorying furniture Mom insisted were heirlooms. They were not. Wednesday was Evan standing on the lawn filming himself saying, "We were blindsided by greed." The comments were split between fans and people who could do math. I didn't respond to any of it. I answered only the messages that involved dates, keys, and boxes. I said no a lot. It felt like learning a new word in my own language. Meanwhile, small good things started happening in the quiet spaces. My boss, Nora, called me into her glass-walled office. "You've been more focused this week," she said. "I slept," I said. She nodded. "I've also been reviewing comp adjustments. You've been carrying freight you weren't paid for. That changes today." She slid a paper toward me. Numbers that made sense. Respect in spreadsheet form. I swallowed hard. "Lena, the ex, texted. I heard about Miami from Diego," she wrote. "Not the details. Just that you finally chose yourself. I'm happy for you. It's overdue. Thanks." I typed, then deleted add-ons like, "I miss you," and "I'm better now." People are not invoices. You can't just resubmit and hope for approval. Friday arrived. Movers filled boxes with bubble wrap size. Mom appeared an hour late wearing sunglasses like armor. She refused to look at me. "We'll talk when you're done being cruel," she said to the air. "I'm done being convenient," I said. "Equal volume. No heat. The storage unit is paid through June. After that, it's yours." "My friends say you're ungrateful," she threw like a dart. "After everything I've done for you." "Mom," I said softer. "What you've done for me didn't require me to be less than a person." For a second, her face flickered. Then she lifted her chin. "Evan will take care of me," she announced. I glanced at him. He was on his phone editing a video titled, "A Son's Betrayal." The irony tried to kill me on the spot. The movers took the last box. The house echoed. I walked room to room, lights off, saying goodbye to plaster and to an idea. At the door, I put Mom's old key in her palm. "Lock it behind you," I said. "The keypad code expires at midnight." "You're not welcome at Christmas," she spat. "I'll be busy," I said. We stepped outside. The lawn hummed with late sun. The sold rider hung under the main sign like a period at the end of a long, mean sentence. Mom tried her key. It didn't turn. She rattled the knob anyway, as if stubbornness could open steel. She looked at me like I was a stranger who'd stolen something. Maybe I was. Maybe I stole myself back. I got in my car and drove home to my laundromat apartment, which suddenly felt like a palace because the only mess inside it was mine. You want a moral? I used to think morals were for stories other people told about you to make themselves look good. Now I think a moral is just a boundary that learned to speak in full sentences. Here's mine. I am not a wallet. I am not a spare key. I am not a seat you can bump without asking. I am a person. My mother is still my mother. My brother is still my brother. Those facts don't require me to be a resource. Love without limits isn't love. It's consumption.